Now I'll give the floor to Ms. Lisa O'Neill-Rogan, who is Associate Director for Learning and Participation at the Octagon Theater, Bolton, UK.
Thank you.
So the floor is yours.
Thank you. Bolton is a town in the north of England with a population of 276,800 people. Of that population, 11.3% were not born in the UK. Nationally, the figure is 13%. 6.2% were born in Asia, 2.8% in India, 1.8% in Pakistan, 2% Africa, 1.3% Eastern Africa. Bolton is one of the local authorities that participates in the Gateway Protection Programme, and we have about 100 refugees who are resettled with us in Bolton each year. Bolton is a really diverse town, but it has high levels of unemployment and poverty in lots of areas of the town, which has meant that emerging communities have become more marginalised. In some areas of the town, the white British population have also reported that they feel marginalised. Some of the issues connected with community cohesion for us in Bolton are that because the communities are segregated, that leads to quite a lot of isolation. The high levels of poverty can often lead to mistrust of emerging communities. Social housing is quite often surrounded by private sector rented property that can be filled with transient communities or condensed areas of a specific nationality of people. We work really closely with Bolton at Home at the theatre, and Bolton at Home is a registered charity who provides social housing. In March 2011, following a vote of support from their tenants, they took over the ownership of houses formerly owned by the council. They now own and manage 18,000 homes in the borough. We work in partnership to provide creative solutions to issues in our communities and neighbourhoods, and often this is about access to cultural opportunities and increased participation in projects that provide people with spaces to come together so that they are able to learn about each other, themselves, and their place in the world. Together, we use a cultural offer to create safe spaces for people to explore how they feel about the issues that are important to them, often issues around community cohesion. The projects that we facilitate encourage and support communities to grow and learn. They are empowered and are often provided with a platform to make change themselves. The projects create an opportunity for dialogue not just between the participants but between communities, and often this is about transparency. We feel like we invest in the people who then feel better about their lives. Both organisations have a shared ethos which is about empowering communities, building capacity and bringing people together to address the issues around social and economic regeneration. Bolton at Home are embedded within communities and they have neighbourhood management teams that run from inside those communities, and they're based there, and they're able to, because they're based there, they're able to develop meaningful relationships with the people who live there. Partnered with a creative approach to the long-term community development that builds capacity, breaks down those barriers, brings people together, provides education and exposure to new shared experiences, we're able to create opportunities for meaningful connections between people of any background. Some examples of the kind of work that we do together are a short-term intervention, a short-term project working with a group of Somalian and Sudanese women. This project brought together two communities to look at the issue of female genital mutilation in Bolton. We have a particular issue with this in Bolton. It's a cultural issue that that some of the communities have brought with them, and it still happens in Bolton. However, some of the women from these communities are now beginning to stand up, and they want to help the communities to stop this issue. We created a piece of theatre with the women that empowered them and enabled them to address the issues within their own community, which were about female genital mutilation still taking place. This piece was then performed at a national conference, and it enabled the women to put forward the suggestion that the solution to FGM should come from within the community and not from what the police were telling them or the National Health Service. It enabled them to create a dialogue at that conference that allowed the delegates, that included the police and NHS, to rethink solutions and talk about a joint approach. This meant that the women did not feel ashamed of their customs. This is an example of an issue that causes isolation and secrecy between communities. The creative process allowed groups to come together to discuss those solutions. It was a short-term intervention for the theatre, but we know, because we work in partnership with Bolton at Home, that the neighbourhood management teams will continue that work in communities. An example of a longer-term project is a women's group who were brought together to look at a creative project that addresses domestic violence. I was brought in by Bolton at Home to set up that group. We brought the women together from a diverse community, and they created pieces of theatre, and they did a film project that was about their lived experiences of domestic violence. Because the project brought them together, they now, a year on, have formed other community groups. So they've expanded that, and they now include lots of other people from the community and a more diverse mix of people, and they have self-elected a committee who are now constituted, and they apply for their own external funding, creating an inclusive, sustainable model that they now want to roll out in other communities themselves. A participant from that project, who had relocated from London to Bolton and has been in Bolton for 10 years, recently told a relative that only now, after being a participant in this group, does she feel that Bolton is her home and that she wouldn't want to leave. For me, community cohesion is about providing safe spaces where people can come together and they can discover a shared interest. The projects that Bolton at Home and the Octagon Theater provide create that environment of trust, learning, support and development. By participating and creating something together, people become less fearful of difference. Projects like these improve cohesion because they involve the whole community. They might start with a small group, but the impact and the ripple effect of the projects is often greater. Using the arts, and especially theatre, ensures visibility and encourages others from the wider community to become either audience members or participants themselves, therefore sharing the experience in some form. People are able to talk about issues in a very open, transparent and safe way. The projects provide opportunities for communities to discover their own solutions and explore that safe environment, explore different ways to solve problems. They bring people together from different backgrounds, and they very quickly forge relationships and trust, because participation in the arts is a very powerful tool for change, growth and development. Bolton at Home is a unique model in terms of its partnership with the Octagon Theater, because it is the only social housing provider with a dedicated arts service, employing 4 arts officers, with a combined budget of £65,000 per year to spend on creative engagement initiatives. Because of the success of community projects run in partnership with the theatre, Bolton at Home and the Octagon created a more formalised agreement, making Bolton at Home one of the theatre's major sponsors. Bolton at Home now give the theatre £20,000 per year, which allows us to make 1,800 free tickets available for Bolton at Home tenants to come and see a piece of theatre. This also pays for some of the community cohesion work that we do together. Having free access to this cultural offer creates a cohesive environment where a diverse range of people from Greater Manchester and beyond come together for that unique shared experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to all the experts.